Hi there, we're on the Santona, the new Brittany Ferry that goes from No, it doesn't. Two things that people did that surprised me on the newest Brittany Ferry at Santona that sails from Portsmouth to Santander in Spain. Hello, we're on the Santona, the new Brittany Ferry that goes from Portsmouth to Santander. We're going back to Portsmouth after 2 months in Portugal and had a wonderful time. I say new, I'm pretty certain it's only been done a couple of trips. It looks to us like the previous one, like the one we came out on, but we didn't come out on this one. The top deck now, I didn't expect to be because I kind of thought it might be a bit too windy, but I found a fairly sheltered spot. It's a nice ship, there's a lot of people on it, there's a lot of people coughing, there's a lot of sick people that I've tried to stay away from, but there's not many people up here, up on the deck, although it's a bit, I wouldn't say it's a great day, but it's not a bad day. I've known a lot worse. When you've been used to the Algarve, then this is always going to be a bit disappointing coming back. I've just had a great breakfast, bacon, eggs, and I didn't expect that. They sent us a letter a few weeks ago to say there wouldn't be any breakfast, but there was. But hey ho, Brittany Ferries, the staff are excellent, I must say. Nice little neat cabin, the perfect little cabin, just what we want. And yeah, love it very much. I very much recommend it. Would prefer Plymouth to Santander, which you can do later on this month, at the end of March, and then April they go regularly, rather than have to drive to Portsmouth, 190 miles instead of 65. But now that's okay. Of course, a lot of people would say, well, is it worth it? I could drive, you know. It's price wise, its base price is around about 800. By the time, if you add-ons, then it works itself up to about 1,000 with a window view, that sort of thing. The Commodore Club, bit of luxury, never had before, but now it's about 1,000. Driving it, yes, it wouldn't cost that, definitely not. That's return. You think of the distance involved, in other words, driving through France twice, the fuel, the time, 2 nights B&B, it all adds up. Yes, it is dear Brittany Ferry, it's just a little bit more luxurious, and it's predominantly older people on here who want a little bit of luxury to enjoy themselves a little bit, and that's why the sort of Plymouth Santander, Port Santander is so popular, and it lands you in Spain, and you go down to Malaga, southern Spain, or you can go down to the Algarve as we did. Years ago I would drive it and did it many times, driving overnight, but not anymore. I like a bit of luxury. Doesn't look like there's anyone here at the moment, does it? I can assure you, go down to the other decks, there's a lot of people coughing. That's why I try to stay away as much as possible. Portsmouth to Santander. Crossing takes 2 nights and 35 hours later arrives in Santander. Returning from Santander, it takes 1 night and 30 hours crossing time. Plymouth to Santander, the crossing time is much less at just 20 hours, but that does not sail in the winter. We treat Brittany Ferries as part of the holiday. It's not as luxurious as a proper cruise, but it's nice not driving all the way through France, something that I've done dozens of times in the past. It's a very relaxing crossing, as long as it's not too rough, but you can always lie down in your cabin, and I find that if I do feel a bit queasy, lying down is always the best thing to do. Cost-wise, it's cheaper to drive across France, as even petrol is cheaper than the ferry crossing, and EV charging is even more cheaper, but it's not as relaxing as Brittany Ferries with your very own cabin. Most of the staff are excellent and helpful, with just a few grumpy employees. One guy, I said, is there going to be food later on today? And he said, of course. And I said, what time is it? And he said, the usual time. So they then said, well, what is the usual time? And eventually he told me it was 5:30. He was a bit grumpy, but not typical of all the staff on the Brittany Ferry, who are generally pretty excellent. A car with 2 people and a cabin costs between £800 and £900 return. If you upgrade to a slightly nicer cabin with a window, plus free food in the Commodore Club, it's just over £1,000. We went out in January and came back in March, mostly British boomers, not a child in sight. Lots of campers and caravans heading south to warmer climates like us in our Tesla Model 3 standard range with LFP batteries. Now, of course, you can take dogs and cats on the ferry and they have their own jail. We were surprised and shocked at two things people did on the New Brittany Ferry. We renamed the Commodore Club the COVID Club, as it had lots of people coughing and sneezing and not covering their mouths. And when we returned to our cars 10 or more minutes before, people started their engines in a very confined deck area. The sound we can hear is all those with their engines going, and we're not going anywhere. They just want to kill us all. Morons. Absolute total morons. They know who they are. Good God. What's wrong with people? Okay, grumpy rant over. Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe and like, and see you soon. And please don't forget to take your reusable coffee mug wherever you go. Thanks ever so much. Bye.